So nice to be back on the diamond. A happy opening day to all of you. Here on the SEC Network, we have the Texas A&M Aggies getting set to host the Abilene Christian Wildcats from Davis Diamond in College Station. Bring you into the broadcast booth now. It's Will Johnson with the former All-American in the A&M program, Tori Vidalis. And Tori, when we last saw the Texas A&M softball program, they were going through a historic season. 48-11 was the record, but they stumbled in the regional round. A disappointing finish to 2025. What does that mean for 2026?
Yeah, honestly, it was probably one of the worst appearances in the NCAA tournament. Number one seed has never been upset and not made it out of their regional. That's what we saw with A&M. But luckily for A&M, this year they've got a lot of new faces and a lot of new talent going to be here on the field at Davis Diamond today.
Yeah, we'll get to some of that new talent on the Aggie roster as we go along. But they've got two that return, Tori, that are going to be huge. KK Dement and Maya Perez.
KK Dement was really a star last year in her freshman season. Such a flat barrel through that zone. Allows her to hit a lot of different pitches with a lot of power to all fields. I can't wait to see what she does in her sophomore campaign. But the hitter that coaches are starting to circle and don't want them to beat is Maya Perez. So much power. Every time she steps up to the plate, there's a threat that this ball gets out of the field and quickly. We saw her do it plenty of times last year, 16 to be exact. And might I add, her and KK Dement had the same amount of home runs.
Yes. Yeah, dead even on the long ball with 16 home runs apiece. And for Perez, she was first team All-SEC and second team All-American. For Dement, she was a freshman All-American and was on the All-SEC tournament team as well. So they were heavy on the accolades in 2025. A&M in the circle to get the season started. We'll send the sophomore in there in Sydney Lessentine.
Yeah, Sydney Lessentine, if you watched last season, you saw the ice in her veins, put in one of the most difficult situations you could be put in as a freshman, and she showed up when it mattered. She's got really such good composure in the circle, but also she's got the stuff to match.
Let's get 2026 started, and that is the case for Texas A&M. ACU has already played a game earlier today. Sydney Lessentine out of Alamogordo, New Mexico. You mentioned some pressure-packed situations last year, and she's going to be key this year.
Yeah, the thing I like about Sydney Lessentine is she's got a lot of different ways to beat you. She likes to go to that rise-drop combo, spread the zone vertically, but she also has good command of the curveball, good command of the changeup. And that's what keeps her in ball games is she has so many different looks, so it makes it really hard as a hitter to, one, establish a plan, and then two, stick to that plan, because that's where hitters usually seem to fail, is sticking to it.
Oh-2 count to Sienna Arguijo leading this one off. Fouled that off. Abilene Christian, they played earlier in a game that ended about an hour ago. They lost to Utah State 8-0. They only had one hit in the game. That was by Arguijo. So Abilene Christian already a game in, and it's the opener for the Aggies. This is all part of A&M hosting their own tournament to begin the season. So we're playing a lot of softball at Davis Diamond this first weekend. 3 games today. There are 4 more tomorrow, 5 on Saturday, and a couple on Sunday to close it out.
Nothing better than lots of softball on opening weekend.
Let's get a bunch of it in right away.
I will say there's nothing quite like waking up on that Monday just sore. You know you're playing 5, maybe 6 games a weekend for some teams. Your body is not used to that.
Well, you wake up on Thursday morning excited about the season. Monday, you really know you've been through it.
Hey, but at least you know you put the work in, right?
That's
Especially
right.
if you're diving. I always used to say, if my uniform's clean, I didn't do my job. Now, I may feel a little differently. Getting a little older, I'm
those
like,
hustle,
I can stay on
those
my feet
hustle
to make
plays
that
get
play.
a little difficult.
Right. The hustle is there. The speed may not be.
Always go max effort, though. Swing and a miss, and Sydney Lessentine has a strikeout to begin her day.
What a sequence. We talked about all the pitches she has in her arsenal, and here just doing a great job at keeping through the zone. She goes right there with the curveball, a little bit over the plate, but she's got great spin and late break, so you saw that jump right under the barrel.
Emerson Meggers at the plate. Lesentin, a high volume of Ks last year. She struck out 79 in 66 innings. Struck out the first hitter, now faces Meggers, the second baseman, hitting from the left side. At second base, and that's Talon Edwards, the Oklahoma State transfer who's playing at second base for A&M. Came in as a Gold Glove recipient after what she did at Oklahoma State last year, but misplays a ball right away here in the first inning.
Yeah, a little bit of a funky hop there. You could immediately see as she booted that ball, her hand goes to her mouth. She says, oh my gosh. That is not a play that she expects to miss, right? You mentioned the Gold Glove. That's a play she needs to make every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. And she knows that, right? But hey, just because you're a senior doesn't mean you don't get a little pregame jitters for the last time you're gonna be on a field in college softball with a new name on the front of your jersey. You just gotta shake it out a little bit.
Now, Talon Edwards won that Gold Glove at OSU last year playing third base. So she makes the moves to second base now that she joins the Aggie program. Elizabeth Schaefer at the plate for the Wildcats. She started every game for ACU at first base last year. Popped up over the infield, Michaela Wark, the other Oklahoma State transfer. They're both on the right side of the infield, and Wark takes care of this pop-up.
It's nice to have a little familiarity next to you, especially coming into a new program. Like we mentioned, both transfers from Oklahoma State. Talon Edwards at second is now in a new position. She won that Gold Glove at third base. Michaela Wark mostly DP'd last year at Oklahoma State, getting over an injury. But even though it's new positions, it's always nice to have a familiar face when you can look over and be like, hey, you're good. Like, well, let's settle in. We got this.
Former Cowgirls on the right side of the infield for A&M. Talon Edwards in. Michaela Wark. Valerie Ornelas, a swing and a miss at the plate here, and quickly down in the count, 0-2. Stays in there.
These late swings show you, or can at least help you understand how much late break Lesentin actually has. This ball looks like a strike coming in until it gets about halfway, and then you realize it's about 2 balls off of the plate, but 2 strikes, you got to be able to protect.
Foul territory. Is there room for Wark? Tracking all the way over to the fence. She will make the catch. Couple of pop-ups to Wark, and that top of the first. ACU goes scoreless. A historic season for A&M softball in 2025, a 48-11 record, and it ended up earning them the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. But in the regional round, Tori, that's where it all kind of came crashing down. Things went south, and they were on a bit of the wrong side of history in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, 2025 was a great year for Texas A&M, and really the emergence of the program being an elite program. And I think, of course, it's a disappointment that you didn't end it the way you thought it would, but the good thing is there's always another opportunity. There's always another game, and I'm sure this year they'll feel that a little bit more.
We saw Maya Perez, she'll hit third. KK DeMint hitting fifth. Those are the key cogs, both of them with those 16 home runs last year. It's Kennedy Powell who's going to lead it off. Powell with speed. One of the toughest runners to throw out in the country once she gets on base.
Yeah, the lineup is definitely going to look a little bit different. You think about all of the players that A&M lost. Coco Woolley, Allie Enright, Kramer Eshte, a lot of speed that they lost. And Kennedy Powell is still keeping strong at the top of the lineup with a ton of speed. Really trying to work on becoming that triple threat. But in talking to the coaches this week, they said, you know, it's not going to be as many long balls probably as you've seen in the past from A&M. We're going to rely a lot on that speed. We're going to rely on being aggressive on the base paths. And we're going to find ways to score. It may not be via the long ball, but we got to find a way. We got to get it done. And I think that's what these first few weekends are really for, to see what you're made of.
It's going to be a tough play with Powell's speed, and she is safe at first base. Chopped that at the left side of the infield, and she's too fast getting up the line. For ACU, in the circle, Leah Meyer, a JUCO transfer from Florida Southwestern, where she helped them to the JUCO National Championship round last year, where they were runners-up.
Yeah, she did. She was actually a second-team All-American as well. Cool little connection. The head coach, Joe Coons for ACU, coached her former coach, Leah's former coach, Camille Corona. Actually, she played at Texas, did her 5th year at UTA. It's just a little bit of a softball connection. We see those all the time, but it's fun to see play out in real time.
Oh, we've got quite a few of those on this opening day. The A&M Aggies are going to play 2 games today. Told you Abilene Christian's already gotten one in. Later tonight, A&M will play Utah State, a different set of Aggies. So it's 2 games for ACU on this opening day, 2 games for A&M as well, and there's connections really with all these teams that have hit the diamond to start it off this Thursday in College Station. This is an anticipated debut in a maroon and white uniform. Ariel Kowalewski, the sophomore, the transfer from Florida. And Kennedy Powell goes and easily is safe. And now she's going to take third base on the throw that got away.
Exactly what we talked about, Will, aggressive base running. We know Kennedy Powell can steal bases. That is her bread and butter. She's never been caught. I shouldn't say never. She hasn't been caught since February 4th of 2024.
Yeah, that's 26 in a row that she has not been caught on stolen base attempts.
And you know what they say, speed never slumps.
Well, now she's in scoring position with nobody out. Oh, high and off the helmet of Ariel Kowalewski.
That one will ring your bell a little bit, but
yeah, gonna make sure anything to the head or neck area, they're gonna check on you, and they'll do exactly that with Kowalewski.
Yep, and this is why I wear a face mask.
I will say she shook it off pretty quick, headed up the line immediately.
She was able to anticipate a little bit. It hit her square in the face. Ideally, you'd like to turn that shoulder in, turn your face towards the catcher to take that pitch appropriately, but hey, free base is a free base.
Especially in your first at bat in a new school.
Yeah, if you know SEC softball, you know Kowalewski. Like, she played, she was a starter her freshman year, 2024 at Florida, hit well over 300. Had to sit out last year because transfer in conference, but what they didn't realize is it was a year of residency. So she had to sit out from January 2024 until January 2025 until this January of 2026. So she missed all of fall ball. So very anticipated.
It stems from transferring within the conference at the certain time. She did it, but like you said, didn't really get to work out fully with the Aggies until preseason camp started in January. But the coaching staff said with Kowalewski, they need her bat in the lineup. Well, this is a situation, if you're ACU, you don't want to see Maya Perez in. Nobody out, runners at the corners, and pure power at the plate. When we talked to some of the coaches getting ready for this tournament, one of them said that they've seen enough film on Maya Perez that she's a part of their nightmares at this point. Well, this is the nightmare situation. Runners on base, it's particularly runner on third with less than 2 outs. And Maya Perez, I mean, she drove in 73 runs last year. It broke a 43-year-old school record here.
Yeah, what a compliment to be known as the hitter that gives coaches nightmares while they're scouting. But I will say, I think it's a great lesson for her this year, right? People are going to pitch around you, and you have to be able to take those walks. It's going to become such a vital part of her game. And I will say, she had 40 walks last year, so it's not like she doesn't have a great eye at the plate or great plate discipline, but that will become a big part of her game.
And that will be enough to get the first run home through the right side of the infield. Kennedy Powell scores 1-0 A&M. And after 73 RBIs last year, there's number 1 for Perez in 2026.
Yeah, Perez just a little bit ahead of this ball, gets out and around it. Hey, RBI is an RBI. You'll take it any day of the week. But I think I can tell by the way she's at first. She's like, I got out and around it. But the beautiful thing is it doesn't always have to be the home run, right? It doesn't have to be the long ball. It doesn't have to be the gapper. It gets the job done.
On first base, nobody out. Kowalewski moves to second base. A&M up 1-0. Here's the Oklahoma State transfer, Michaela Wark. Wark with some power of her own. 3 years in Stillwater with the Oklahoma State program. She totaled 29 homers. Hit that hard. Nice play at shortstop by Savannah Crocker. Goes to third to get the lead out. They tried to turn 2, not quite in time, but hit well. Crocker, a nice job fielding.
Yeah, that was a seed. And right there, the only thing you can do is try to close that distance, get it at the shortest hop possible. And Crocker, great body position, and to be able to make the lane to make that throw over to third base. Love the idea of defense going 3-2. Shorter throw, better chance.
So now 1 out, KK DeMent, after her freshman All-American season. To go along with her 16 homers last year, 18 doubles, can really slug it, and had a .335 average.
You know, I think that's actually more impressive to me is when I can see that your doubles are higher. And to be fair, the numbers are both very high. 18 doubles and 16 home runs, you'll take that season every day. But when you have a swing that stays through the zone a really long time, it's eliminating the launch angle thought process, right, of trying to get that ball up.
It was ripped but foul.
But because she stays so flat through the zone, she's able to get her hands extended, but she's also very balanced. She has elite leg and bottom half control, so she's able to control her body a little bit more. So all of these things put together just creates such a smooth swing that allows her to go to any part of the field with pop. And I think you just saw her get better and better last year, which makes me excited to follow her journey at A&M and see where it could take her.
Yeah, you mentioned better and better. I mean, she caught fire in the postseason. What she did in the SEC tournament, in the regional, if you come out and combine those together, it was a 500 average and 5 homers, and that's in the most important time of the year. Not an easy play, and it got through the infield. Now the defenders are pointing at Maya Perez, saying it's runner's interference, and Perez is called out as she was on her way to third base.
This is giving Joe Coon's defensive-minded defense right now, because Crocker, this is exactly what you want to do as a shortstop. She's charging that ball. She has an opportunity to make a play on it. If you're Maya Perez, you either have to stop or go around that, but she read that play perfectly. That is exactly what you need out of your defense.
So it's 2 outs now. And those runners on first and second. It's now Wark at second, DeMent at first. Talon Edwards at the plate. Down the line and right, that will hook foul before it lands, but that was struck well. They talk so much about Talon Edwards and her defense with the Gold Glove that she won last year, but respectable .282 average also a season ago at Oklahoma State. She does not strike out a lot. That's something you notice about her statistically. That's back up the middle base hit. Wark trying to score, play at the plate, got her, she's called out. Great throw by Ari Maxwell from center field, and at the moment, that will end the inning, keeping a run off the board. Does Trisha Ford want a challenge? Is there going to be a replay? I believe there will be.
The run on the field was an out at home plate. This is a Texas A&M challenge. The previous play is under further review.
All right, so a great throw by Maxwell. Threw out Wark at home plate, but we will give it another look.
Yeah, we were just talking about Talon Edwards and her barrel to ball skills. She doesn't strike out very often, and right on cue, she hooked that ball foul to the right side. And that's actually something that Jeff Harder shared with us, is when she thinks power, she thinks out and around. So for her to be able to adjust that swing, get right up the middle and into this play, you know, Will, I think that's the right call. Wark slides in, and her right foot comes up as she's sliding, and then it comes back down and catches the plate. But Lacina behind the plate doing a great job at, 1, being in the right position, 2, receiving that ball, 3, making a phenomenal swipe tag. This ACU defense has really been impressing me just in the first inning. Had some really tough plays, but not just physical plays, mental plays as well. The one from Crocker at shortstop really stands out to me. Being able to go attack that ball. I mean, we know, well, I know, maybe we'll share with you guys later, the broadcast listening, but Jo Coons, the head coach for ACU, is a defensive-minded coach. She was a shortstop by trade. I'm sure she's loving this out of her Wildcats.
She even puts it on their workout shirts. Defense matters.
It wins ball games.
Yeah.
After review, the call is confirmed. The runner's out at home plate. Texas A&M is charged with their first challenge. They have 1 remaining.
Tori, you're 1 for 1 this year. You said it would be upheld, and it's upheld.
Batted 1,000.
Nice defense to close out that bottom of the first. Thrown out at home plate on a nice play by Ari Maxwell. So ACU coming back to getting the bats back in their hands, I should say, at the top of the second down, 1-0. Jo Coons, second season as the head coach at ACU. And she's coming off a game in which she played against her alma mater. They just played Utah State earlier, and you mentioned she was a shortstop by trade. That's where she played, Utah State University. Well, Ari Maxwell just made a great defensive play, and by rule, you have to lead off the next inning.
It's the only way.
Seems like it's a rule because it works out so often like that. I'll tell you, Sydney Lessentine, she's been here before because it's 1-0 A&M over Abilene Christian. These two met up in this tournament last year, and that was the final. Abilene Christian pushed the Aggies. A&M beat them in 2025 early in the season, 1-0, and it was Lessentine who threw a complete game shutout. Now that's down the line, and it will just land foul.
Yeah, opening weekend is always interesting. You see some teams come out and just body slam their opponents, and then you see some teams who kind of let that score creep up on them a little bit and sneak into their mind, and you start pressing. And that's when you start to see those upsets of teams who are just workhorses coming in and trying to take these big programs down. They want to be the one to have that ESPN notification pop up and be like, ACU Wildcats takes down, Texas A&M Aggies, opening day. You're fighting for that. You've got a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, especially being from Texas.
You hear that upset alert sounder. You always want to be on the right side.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice pitch away, caught the corner, and a strikeout looking by Sydney Lessentine.
There's levels to this, Will, and Sydney Lessentine is on the perfect level. That curveball at the knees away to a righty is filthy, especially after that long foul ball that she just hit, and then to come back with that curveball, just phenomenal placement.
And it's her second strikeout. And starts off Taylor Christensen with a strike.
Yeah, I think that will really be the key for Lessentine this year is not necessarily the pitches that she has, because we already know they're good, but how well can you place them? How can you spot your pitches? If you can keep everything on the black or everything on the corners and just don't miss over the heart of the plate, you will win a lot of ball games. You will get a lot of hitters out solely on the fact that it's placed well. It could not have any movement. It could be a fastball, right? You could go fastball 7 innings, although you need a changeup if you're going to offset that. But it's more about the placement than it is about the insane break or the really high spin rate. Those things add to it, but if you can get down the basics of throw and catch, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
And worked ahead in the count to Taylor Christensen. And a 1-2 pitch out in front. Swing and a miss. 2 hitters up in the top of the second. 2 strikeouts.
Once Lessentine gets into her rhythm, she starts to feel it. That curveball has just got a little bit of up movement. If I'm ACU, I'm thinking we've already had 2 flyouts, 3 strikeouts swinging underneath the ball. Somebody has to make the adjustment right here, right now. Maybe it's going to be Savannah Crocker getting on top of that ball and hitting a ground ball to Talon Edwards. That's got to be your main focus, especially when you've watched hitter after hitter after hitter get beat in almost the same way.
Crocker hitting 7th in the lineup. And she's quickly down to the count. Lessentine working ahead. Opponent's batting average against Lessentine last year just 179, so she can get to where she starts to dominate often. Went up, got enough of it to stay in the count. Out in front, 3 strikeouts that inning for Sydney Lessentine. 4 for the game. 1-0 Aggies. A&M due up in the bottom of 2. Abilene Christian trailing 1-0. They send Leah Meyer back into the circle, and their head coach, Joe Coons, used the ACU acronym to develop the core values of her program in her 2nd year.
Yeah, accountability, competitive, uncommon. And the one that really sticks out to me is uncommon. I'm like, what do you mean by that? She said you have to be willing to do things that other people aren't to be great. Whether that is, you know, running the extra rep, or the way you carry yourself walking to the bus, waking up early to get your work in. So many things.
Deep to center, onto the track. Maxwell will make the catch off the bat of the catcher, Maddie Sowney. And that was one of the Aggies who's going to go through a much anticipated debut here today. The catcher from Hawaii, Maddie Sowney. Deep to center into the glove of Ari Maxwell.
Yeah, got a lot of pop in that barrel. Again, it's only the first time through the lineup. I feel like I'm so excited to watch all of these players develop, but I don't want to wish away the season. I want to enjoy this opening day as it's here. But so many new faces, and I'm ready to see what they've got.
Long season, you'll get your chance.
Yeah. I'm trusting the process.
A lot of softball this weekend, like we've already said. I mean, you get a chance this weekend to see it all. Here's one of the new Aggies, Paisley Allen, getting the start in left field. She's from Louisville, Texas, but she's a Georgia transfer into the A&M program. She's gone to center field. That's well struck. No doubt about this one. Paisley Allen, her first time to the plate as an Aggie, goes deep.
Welcome to College Station, Paisley Allen. Should I remind you that she just showed bunt on the first pitch? Rears back. Hello. See ya never. First one you expect to come from a Maya Perez, a KK DeMint, but how about Paisley Allen, bottom half of the lineup in the 8th spot, flexing a little bit of power. I'm sure that won't be the last one we see from her either.
I mean, straightaway center field at 220 and well over the wall.
I gotta find out where the howdy hat went. I was looking forward to it.
Well, on the scouting report the coaches gave us on Paisley Allen, they said sneaky power.
Sneaky.
That
Not
wasn't
so sneaky
anymore. That was
right?
right in your face power over the wall. In center, just dead away center field. And now it's Frankie Vragel at the plate.
But I love that versatility, right? She shows bunt. She's trying to lay down a bunt. She realizes that Lepardo and Schaefer are playing deep at the corners. She's trying to sneak one in and then gives herself one pitch to try to sneak that bunt in. After that, she's standing in and she's just saying, let's go. At that point, you just got to get a good pitch, get your best swing off.
She found it and drove it. And Frankie Vragel, the bottom of the order, she'll try to turn it back over to the top where Kennedy Powell awaits. That 1-0 game in which A&M beat ACU last year, it was Vragel who drove in the only run of the game.
Yeah, Vragel had a lot of big moments last year. Stepped in for Amari Harper when she went down and really earned that starting position. Was on fire. It seemed like she couldn't get out at one point last season.
Through the right side, that's another hit for A&M. The Aggies already 6 hits, barely an inning into this one. So it is, A&M was credited with 4 hits in the first inning because, almost should clarify this, KK DeMint, when she came to the plate, bounced the ball to the left side of the infield. There was runner's interference that cost A&M an out, but KK DeMint was awarded a hit on that play back in the first inning. So A&M 4 hits in the first inning, then 2 more here with the home run by Allen and the single by Vragel. This is a bunt from Kennedy Powell. And I thought that may have hit her coming out of the box, may have bounced off the turf and struck her coming out of the box. She is an out. And maybe she avoided it.
She might have. The twinkle toes trying to avoid. I didn't think it was going to stay fair. I think if I was her in that moment, I would stop and pretend that it did hit me. Give my best Oscar performance.
Vragel went to second base. Now 2 down in the inning. Ariel Kowalewski at the plate. She was hit by a pitch an inning ago, right off the helmet.
Yeah, Meyer doing a good job of working that changeup in. I think where she gets into a little bit of trouble is when it stays up. She can get up and over that ball to make it go down a little bit more, stay lower in the zone. I think it might give the Aggies a little bit tougher of a time staying more disciplined and not getting out on that front foot. When you saw Frankie Vragel on her hit, she was out in front on that front foot and kind of pulled the ball with her. And that's great adjustment, of course.
Nice pitch on the outside corner. Got Kowalewski looking. Leah Meyer just painted the corner to end the inning, but the Aggies get another one, Tori, on the Allen homer.
Paisley Allen, her first one in the maroon and white. Sneaky power, but it might not be too sneaky for long, Will.
Texas A&M, some of the new faces this year. I mean, there's plenty of them. There's not a whole lot that you'll see returning out there from 2025.
Yeah, Kennedy Powell is really the only player that is cemented into that position that she played last season. And that graphic showed you Maya Perez split time last year with Amari Harper and Mac Barbara. Mac Barbara spent some time at first and catcher. but you lose the spine of your defense. You lose a catcher, your ace pitcher, your starting shortstop for 4 years, a center fielder, and also a corner outfielder as well, and Kramer Echte, who had a cannon of an arm out there. We saw her make plenty of ESPN top 10 plays last season over that left field wall, but talk about a defense that loses its core. What do you do? How do you bounce back? And a big part of that is going to be KK Dement, who you saw slide over from second to shortstop. And what I think is really cool, as I'm able to fast forward into the conversation, last year Trisha Ford said she is the future shortstop, the future star shortstop at Texas A&M. I think that says a lot about what KK can bring to this team and to the game at shortstop.
And Trisha Ford is in her 4th year at Texas A&M. It's her 16th season as a collegiate head coach. Also handles the pitchers on this staff and has to love what she's seeing from Sydney Lessentine right now. It's 4 straight strikeouts for Lessentine in the circle. But also, going back to what you were talking about with KK Dement, I mean, she was a freshman last year, just kind of warming up to the collegiate game and started to play really well. They slide her over to shortstop, but Trisha Ford's having more conversations these days with KK Dement because she's telling her, in part, you can't be a shortstop and not be vocal.
Yeah.
You're kind of going to lead the defense out there, those 4 infielders. You're the top one. You're the one that's got to be vocal. And the conversations are frequent with Ford to Dement, and she wants Dement's voice out there on the dirt to be quite frequent as well.
Yeah, and you need it, right? As a shortstop, you're the quarterback of the team, of the defense, of the infield, whatever you want to call it. But she actually talked about these weekly meetings that they have. You mentioned like wanting to get her more vocal. I'm like, well, what are these meetings exactly like? Is it just you? Is it Coach Harger talking to her, who's the hitting coach for A&M? What do they look like? She's like, well, with me, I'm more setting goals. We're talking about, you know, leadership, personal goals, everything that we want to work on. As Lessentine gets another strikeout, 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Dealing. May not need KK Dement out there if she keeps performing this way.
Defense going to get bored.
Right. But it's funny because when you ask Harger what his meetings look like, he's like, I want her to figure it out. I want her to like figure out what's going on with her swing to tell me. I don't want to have to, I'm gonna say baby her, but I don't want to have to like coddle her along and every swing she's asking, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? She is a player that knows her swing. She knows what works for her. She's got great body awareness. And to me, looking from the outside in, KK Dement is a type of player that any coach would want on their team. She may be quiet, but she's thinking. She's thinking about the game. She's thinking about her swing. She's thinking about where she needs to be on defense. And she's a grinder. She knows how to put her head down and work. She's not ego-fueled. She's not like, oh, me, I want all these awards. What can I do for the team? Mm-hmm. And I think that's apparent seeing her start at second base, which is not her normal position last season as a freshman, but learning the ropes from Coco Woolley, who was a 4-year starter at shortstop. So it's going to be a transformation, and I think it's going to be a beautiful one for her because what we saw last year, if that's just the beginning, I think their opponents should be very scared of KK Dement.
Terrific freshman season, freshman All-American. It's kind of preparing her for leadership, those conversations, and her move to shortstop. Sienna Arguijo, top of the order at the plate for ACU. She has the only hit of the day for ACU. They were 1 hit by Utah State earlier in a loss. Top of the 3rd here. They're still looking for their first hit against Sydney Lessentine, but Lessentine has struck out 5 consecutive Wildcats, and it's 2 strikes to Arguijo. Shallow center coming in, Frankie Fragile. Another easy inning for Sydney Lessentine. A&M a run in each of their first 2 at-bats, and they're coming to the plate at the bottom of the 3rd.
Just short season. And Torrey to right center.
2025, the inaugural season of the AUSL, the championship series. That was Torrey Vidalis, our own Torrey, going deep over the right field wall in game 1 of the series. Joe Coons, the head coach of ACU, was there. She was an assistant coach with the Talons and your team. Saw the team photo there as well. And you enjoyed getting to talk to her as we prepped for this weekend. And she brought some of the things back from your Talons team to use with her Wildcats here as they start the 2026 season.
Yeah, it was so great getting to work with Joe and seeing her and how she approaches the game. I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. She's a very defensive-minded coach, and she was our defensive coach on the Talons. So just getting to kind of pick her brain a little bit and her pick ours as well. I thought it was really cool. I asked her about things that she brought back to her team, and it's funny how it all worked out. It was one of their core values that you saw earlier as well, the accountability, the competitiveness, but also the uncommon, right? Like, the pros are uncommon, especially in our sport. It's very hard to get to that level. And listening to her talk about it, oh, I had to pause there.
Yeah, Maya Perez, another deep shot. That one hopped the wall, but obviously in foul territory.
But listening to her talk about what she took away from her side of it was a lot of that selflessness as a team. Like, you have to be willing to play your role, and whatever your role might look like that day. Like today, Leah Meyer is in the circle. Tomorrow, she might be on the bench, and you have to be able to accept that in a way that it's pushing all of us forward.
How about Leah Meyer here? Got a strikeout looking of Maya Perez after that long foul ball.
And Meyer, we talked about that changeup, having to get on top of it. Look at the way she spins it out of her hand. It's sinking down into the zone. If she can get that pitch called every at-bat, you got to keep that ball right there, because that is a tough spot for a hitter to lift or even get any type of power out of.
That is a big out for Meyer to start the bottom of the third. Now she faces Michaela Wark. We mentioned Meyer's season at Florida Southwestern State a year ago, where she helped them to the national championship round in the JUCO World Series. She went 19-4 with a 1.94 ERA. Some big-time numbers at the JUCO level. Now in D1, in her first time out, she faces the 11th ranked team in the country with a big-time lineup in these A&M Aggies.
Yeah, any team that's going to keep a lineup as powerful as A&M off balance, it's going to be that changeup. And we've seen her mix it in all game. It goes to show how important timing is in hitting, as you see another dribbler.
Not an easy play, and not in time at first base. Michaela Wark beats it out.
Speed never slumps. Wark, again, Meyer just doing a great job at keeping them off balance. Wark is on her front foot, out and around this ball, a little dribbler. Meyer is plenty athletic to make that play, but Lepardo needs to be able to charge that ball, cut it off, working that shuffle into first base. I think we would have a different situation right now, but now we've got one on, one out with a KK Dement, who's got a lot of pop in that barrel.
Dement, the 16 homers, the 18 doubles last year. That's the pop Tori was talking about. And also explained that she did get a base hit back in the first inning on a play in which there was runner's interference on the left side of the infield. She hit a ground ball, a chopper. Runner's interference was called on the Aggies, but Dement was awarded a hit, so she has a single in this game. That infield base hit by Wark a moment ago, the 7th hit of the game for A&M. Nice off-speed pitch.
2 in a row. Meyer knows that pitch is working. The question is, will she triple dipper it?
Man, once a good hitter sees it, are you willing to go back to it? It's always the question.
She does.
Out in front. Out in front, and there's 2 down. Big out. She's got Maya Perez and KK Dement this inning with some big pitches.
If you can command a changeup, you are going to be a dangerous arm. I don't care what level you play at, how old you are, you're going to be dangerous. And Meyer has found her rhythm with the changeup and keeping it low in the zone. Right at the beginning of the game, it was a little bit higher. That's why we saw that first inning, 4 hits, a lot of, I don't want to say pop, but there were some well-struck balls. Even the play that Savannah Crocker made off of Work, that was a seed.
Sharply hit one hopper. And Talon Edwards barreled her up pretty well back in the first inning. Line drive single up the middle. That play ended the first inning for A&M at the plate. Big play by Ari Maxwell, the Wildcat center fielder, threw out a runner at home. Would have been 2-0 A&M at the time. But A&M, the single run in the first, single run in the second, trying to score, trying to plate one here in the third. Got away from the catcher for a moment. Not enough to advance.
It was enough, it was just a bad read.
Yeah.
To be fair, she should
I'll defer to you,
she'll be at,
the former player.
She'll be
You're
at
right.
third next
Yeah,
time
right.
because I know she's going to get an earful when she walks back to the dugout.
Yeah, probably from Jeff Harder, who's coaching over at third right now. That's low and it's a walk.
But as someone who is not known for speed, right, like I would say Michaela Work and I are similar, right, in stature, in type of player. Those are the balls that I'm looking for all day because I know I'm not going to get a straight steal to third base, but the moment I see that ball touch the dirt, I'm out. I'm out. You'll never see me again. I'm at the next base. But you have to trust your instinct. The moment you second guess it, that's when you start to get thrown out. So you'd rather stay if you didn't get a good jump.
Went back to the off speed. Got a strike looking on Maddie Sawney. Sawney's the freshman from Hawaii. They're excited about getting her into this program. She was highly recruited. Her first time to the plate, hit one deep to center field, warning track, and it was caught. She's hit this deep to left field, that's shy of the warning track. Gave that a pretty good ride. 2 fly balls today from Sawney, both of them caught, both of them hit pretty well. 2-0 A&M, they strand a couple.
Going into the 4th inning here in Abilene, and Sydney Lessentine has been mowing down the Wildcats, really utilizing that up pitch, the curveball, painting the corners. Will, we talked about how important for her the command is going to be. We know she's got the movement, but how well can she command her repertoire? And today she has shown that she has the control and she's ready for more.
So the 3 scoreless, hitless innings with the 6 strikeouts. The only base runner for the Wildcats thus far was an error back in the first inning, and that was Emerson Meggers, who leads off here in the top of the 4th. Dominance from Sydney Lessentine as we hit the middle frames. Up high and a swing and a miss by Meggers. Up high again and a check swing, went around. So down in the count, 0-2.
You can tell how much late break a ball has by how many swings and misses they're getting out of the zone. You could tell that rise ball really starts to jump about 3/4 of the way home. That's why she's getting all those swings and misses when you're like, what? That's out of the zone. And she
Another
does
one.
it again.
Oh, 3 pitches, kind of the same thing. 7th strikeout. Sydney Lessentine, there you are, really starting to mount now.
I mean, as a pitcher, you know that you're swimming in a hitter's dome if they're swinging at 3 rise balls out of the zone, not even close. When you start to get worked up, you start to chase pitches out of the zone, you lose your plate discipline, you fall away from your approach as well. Every hitter that is in a lineup today, whether it's ACU or Texas A&M, you have to have an approach walking into the box. You have to have a pitch or a side of the plate that you're hunting. I think it allows you to narrow down a little bit more of what you're chasing. and shrink that plate, right? If you see Lessontine's been throwing curve and rise, why would I be sitting on an inside pitch, right? You're taking information that you're getting from every at-bat, every player. It doesn't necessarily have to be your own lessons that you're learning from, but that's why it's the team that makes the adjustment first usually comes out on top. But if you go up there thinking, okay, I'm swinging at a pitch that's outside, it doesn't have to be the perfect pitch outside, but you know that you can spit on anything in and not swing at it and sell out for that curveball, but make sure you get on top of it, because that's what we've seen, right? Rise balls and swinging underneath it.
Pulled and hit hard off the bat of Elizabeth Schaefer, but Kennedy Powell is right there. That is the best hit ball by a Wildcat today, but it's to no avail, right into the glove of Powell.
Yeah, Powell, such a mainstay at third base. Such a great glove. I think that says a lot about her glove. You bring in a gold glove third baseman in Talon Edwards, and they're fighting for that spot.
Another well-struck ball, this off the bat of Valerie Ornelas, and it's the first hit of this game for the Wildcats.
And a beautiful cut to get that in, Paisley Allen. We talked about her speed out there in the outfield. This ball sneaks past Kennedy Powell as we're hyping her up. But look at the angle. Such a steep angle stops that from getting to the warning track and immediately gets rid of it. The coaching staff has talked about how athletic and quick she is. I think she could be a great asset.
Yeah, you're right. That had double written all over it, but Paisley Allen kept it from going to the wall, and now a pop-up off the bat of Ari Maxwell, and it's taken care of by Talon Edwards. Sydney Lessontine's dealing in the Aggie offense doing just enough, and that includes Paisley Allen, a solo home run over the center field wall in her first at bat as an Aggie.
I don't know if there's much that's better than hitting a home run in your first at bat. It's kind of like, yeah, I never left. I'm still here.
Well, she didn't get back to the dugout, did she? And they said it's all downhill from here.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I need to figure out where the howdy hat's at, though.
Yeah.
I'm missing it a little bit.
Yeah.
I got to admit.
And
I
the
love
horse.
the fun celebrations.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a fan. Who knows? Maybe,
We're
maybe they have to earn it.
we can get the between-game scoop on that, and maybe we'll have some information when the Aggies play Utah State tonight.
I'll have my people text their
That's
people.
right. Get your people on it.
I am people.
Get those representatives to work, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Right. That means you got to stay tuned for the next one. We'll have the answer for you on the other side.
See? We'll need answers tonight. Since the Paisley Allen homer, Leah Meyer in the circle trying to settle in for the Wildcats. She's got Allen down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. She's using that off-speed pitch. That time it was a little low.
Yeah, she's starting to throw it a little bit too much, in my opinion, as a hitter. If I see it again, I'm sitting on it. So if I see it, twice in at bat, 3 times in at bat, I know I'm bound to get at least 1.
Dialed it up a notch there, but too far inside. As we get the bottom of the 4th started, 2 runs, 7 hits, and an error for A&M. ACU scoreless on 1 hit. They've also committed an error. Kiana Lepardo will throw out Paisley Allen.
I'm really just sitting here thinking about Leah Meyer and what she's been doing this game. It's really been fun to watch. At the beginning, you could tell maybe the nerves a little bit are up. Ball was a lot higher in the zone, but as she settled in, she's really started to utilize the lower half of that zone, which is going to be what is going to keep A&M in the yard, is low in the zone and changing speeds. And until one of A&M's hitters sits on that changeup and has the control with her legs and being able to kind of ride the leg out through that changeup, I'm realizing this may not make sense to everybody without softball lingo, but when a hitter is in their legs, they're allowing themselves to kind of build up that power, and you have to be able to time the ball so that your heel is landing as the ball is halfway home. Right now, A&M is getting ahead of themselves. Their foot is getting down really early, and they're not able to hold their arms back to stay behind the ball. That's why we saw a lot of those dribblers, but mostly it's on that changeup. You see the hard ball, Frankie Vrajel shoots the other way. But for me, it's about the control of your body, no matter if it's a fast pitch or a slow pitch, especially when multiple hitters have already been beaten by the same pitch. Somebody has to step up and make that adjustment.
Well, plenty of coaches, they'll back what you're saying, whether it's hitting or throwing. The power comes from your legs, the ground up. Soft line drive. Meggers goes to the ground to make that catch. Quickly 2 down for the Aggies in the bottom of the 4th inning. Top of the order for A&M, Kennedy Powell, she's 1 for 2. Chopped foul. Well, we're glad to be back at the Diamond, and everybody's glad it's opening day. It's even better when you get this kind of weather for it.
It is beautiful.
Soft wind kind of blowing from left to right field, not a big factor. I mean, sun's starting to go down. We've got a nightcap for you later. Utah State's starting to trickle back in for their game against the Aggies later, but we're kind of in the mid-60s. We think for that game tonight we'll dip into the 50s, lower 50s. But there's been some icy weather around these parts in recent weeks. Nice to have a pretty day to get the season started in 2026.
Yeah, just enough ice in time for the Winter Olympics.
That's right. Opening ceremonies tomorrow.
That's right.
You know, for the first time ever, there's an Aggie in the Winter.
I was going to say that. You read my mind.
Yeah.
Boone Niederhofer.
Were you a student athlete when
Boone?
Boone Niederhofer was playing football at A&M?
Was.
Oh, yeah,
Sure
he's going to be with the United States 4-man bobsled team. And they'll, I guess as they say, go for gold.
They will try. I got to tune in. I got to watch.
Yes. And Boone Niederhofer, believed to be the first ever Aggie Winter Olympian. This is deep, right center field. That's off the wall. Extra bases. Kennedy Powell.
New Selly alert. I must say I like the Selly. Off the bat, I thought immediate triple because of the speed that Kennedy Powell has. Pitch on the outer half, again, just getting out and around it, which is normal, right? You're so anxious to hit. But I think Taylor Christensen did a great job on the angle to that ball. It was in the air quite a long time, but she took a really good route to get to that ball, played it off the wall really well, which is hard in a new place, but knowing that she played here last year, right? They have the experience at Davis Diamond. They know how that ball is going to play off the wall. Is able to hold Kennedy Powell to a double.
So it's a chance for the Aggies to get one across with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Ariel Kowalewski. She's been hit by a pitch and also struck out looking. A Florida transfer. Had to sit out due to some of the rules dealing with transferring within the conference. A&M so glad to get her back in the lineup, or in the lineup now, really for the first time. You see 2024 at Florida as a freshman, hit .308.
Yeah, 8 home runs in the SEC is no easy task. But like you mentioned, had to sit out a full year. So she transferred in January of 2025 and had to sit out a full year of residency. So she had to be in College Station for a year before she was released to practice with the team, or excuse me, play with the team. She could practice, she just couldn't suit up, right? So she's doing everything that every single person in the A&M dugout did last year, but she didn't get to reap the benefits of putting on the jersey, going out there, feeling the crowd, feeling the energy. It was more of a put your head down and work, and that was one of the things that Trisha Ford shared with us, is that she is such a workhorse. She told us during an A&M Saturday football game, she walks in to the cages and AK is in there with her family, just trying to hit this low and in drop ball. She's like, I'm gonna just keep practicing until I get it. And the next week at practice, she got one and she looked at coach and she was like, let's go. Like, that was the moment that paid off for her. And I think, of course, if you're the coaching staff here at A&M, you love to see the work ethic and somebody who's really grinding for something that they want, right? It's not given, it's earned.
That's dedication as she reached out. Grounded this one at the shortstop, Savannah Crocker, and is thrown out. The Aggies will strand Kennedy Powell at second base. A&M has stranded 4 in scoring position thus far. After the Aggies put up a single run in the first and second inning, 2-0 A&M as we go to the 5th. So Jo Koons, ACU, her second season at the helm in Abilene. Got to the WAC tournament last year. First appearance in a while in that tournament. This is their last season in the WAC.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I love to see the growth, right? From year 1 to year 2, what can you do? What can you bring? What can you change? What can you introduce? So many ways to approach this. And I think from both coaches, really, Trisha Ford and Jo Koons, we heard now it feels like their program, right? You come back, you have these expectations, you have the culture set. Ford, of course, being in her 4th year, said the same sentiments about year 2. Right now, it's my program. We're running it the way. Like, we need to see success, and I think you see all of that follow. Jo Koons made the WAC tournament, set a new attendance record. Like, these are things that are just the beginning of what you can really start to build at a program when you win. Winning is fun.
It attracts more talent.
Many attendees.
When you can do it, yeah. Well, ACU probably exceeded expectations last year in Coach Koons' first season. They were picked 8th in the WAC. They ended up tying for 4th in the standings. Perhaps they'll rise above those expectations again this year. Picked 6th in the WAC. 7 teams in the league, and a mistake over there on the right side of the infield for the second time today. Wark, I believe, called off Edwards on that pop-up, could not handle it, and that's a second error.
I could tell it was trouble by the way they were looking at each other, and the ball was not even at the apex yet. And I think that's exactly what Trisha Ford is coming out to speak to our defense about, is just slowing it down, right? Those are plays that should be made. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It comes down to communication and calming your nerves, right? It's not a question about whether they're talented enough to catch a fly ball, but the communication part, this is what you've been spending 5-6 months on in the off season. Those have to be made, especially from 2 upperclassmen who have been here, done that, right? They've been to the World Series. They've been in high pressure situations. I know to Coach Ford, that's unacceptable. And I think they would agree with that as well. But again, the good part is it's just a mental error. So all you got to do is flush it, make the next one, put it behind you, and keep it pushing.
The right side of the infield, 2 former Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Like you said, they played in the Women's College World Series. Both are going to be excellent players for the Aggies this year, but both on opening day have an error over there on the right side. Sydney Lessentine, for the first time today, a leadoff hitter is on against her. Essentially, she's just been flat out dominant, did not allow a hit till the 4th inning. She's only allowed the 1 hit. And the other 2 base runners she's allowed by error. She'll go to first base here to get Savannah Crocker, and that'll move Christensen to second.
Textbook softball here. Find a way on, find a way over. Crocker doing her job there, putting down the bunt. So Lessentine, I love a pitcher that can throw overhand. Give you a solid throw to first base, nice and sharp.
Opposite field, waiting on it, Ariel Kowalewski. She'll make the catch and show off the arm. That got the crowd into it. Terrific player, an excellent talent, and an arm to go with it out there in the right field.
And let me just remind everyone, she played third base at Florida her freshman year, transitioned to the outfield, so now we really get a chance to see her air it out. Yes, I love seeing a right fielder just air out that arm. Solid throw to third base. It almost becomes a dare. I dare you to run on me.
That's exactly what it becomes. Everybody will notice that now.
Double dog dare you.
Are you going to try to test that?
Would you go?
Not at all.
Good answer.
I wouldn't even think about it. Not even in my prime if I had a prime.
Hey, you know, the key is self-awareness, and you've got it.
Exactly. That's the one thing I'm good at, self-awareness.
And that's a skill.
That's right. It was an acquired skill. It took a long time to get it. So with a runner on second base, this would indeed represent ACU's best scoring opportunity to this point. Christensen at second. Kiana Lepardo at the plate, bottom of the order. 2 down, 2 strikes though. Goes the other way, long run. Nice catch out there made by Paisley Allen as Frankie Vrajel was diving right past her.
I'm sweating a little bit. This was a great play, phenomenally placed. Vrajel and Allen trying to make a play. Paisley Allen gets him out of the inning.
Bottom of the 5th coming up. Maya Perez will lead it off for Texas A&M, and last year first team All-SEC and second team All-American, so the accolades rolled in, and they think more may be on their way for her in 2026.
I think I would have to agree. I think if anything, Maya Perez has not reached her ceiling, not even close, with the abilities that she has, the power that she has, but truly it's all going to come down to what's in between the ears. Now, we talked about earlier in the broadcast how she's the person that teams don't want to beat, or they don't want her to beat them now, and you've got a target on your back, right? They're going to pitch you differently, you're going to have different sequencing, and you have to be able to take on a new role. Understanding that walks are just as important because you have that backup behind you, but you can only be as good as the protection that you have. And I think A&M has done a great job at adding that protection for her to allow her to kind of quiet the chatter in her mind. But every time we talk to Harger and Ford about Maya, they say what a professional hitter she is. She understands her swing, but also understands the approach side of the game and how important that is.
Chopped up the middle, base hit, second hit of the game for Maya Perez. Couple of singles for her today. The first one came with an RBI attached to it. But Jeff Harger, he used that term elite process with her, Maya Perez. That's kind of what you were talking about. And that's the other thing, she gets on base. She had a top 20 on base percentage nationally last year.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of understanding your swing, understanding how pitchers are going to attack you, right? Knowing where those holes are at. They mentioned every game she'll watch her ABs before the night is over, mind you. She's going home, watching her ABs immediately, and texting Harger about thoughts that she had. What if they went here? Like, what do you think about this swing? Or maybe I should have picked a different pitch. And talking about the process that goes into being an elite hitter, not just getting in the box, see ball, hit ball. And I think that's what makes her great, is even at a young age, she can buy into the approach and stick to it. That's where I think you see the youth start to falter, is they'll have a great swing, they'll have a great approach, but then they get down a strike or maybe get a pitch that they didn't think was happening, and then they abandon the plan altogether. And that's where you see trusting the process really come to fruition, is in the box, you're 0-2, or let's say you're 2-2, right? You're looking outer half. You've gotten a changeup and a pitch on the inner half. Are you going to be okay if you stick to the plan of an outside pitch, they throw you an inside pitch on the inner half and you strike out? You have to be okay to know that that strikeout is okay, because that is not what you were hunting. And you just have to be able to flush it and realize that little wins matter, and sticking to the approach is a little win.
The Aggies get a runner in 4, and taking second base is Ansley Gross. So runner in scoring position for the Aggies now.
Yeah, Gross, they talked a lot about her speed and what an asset she's going to be on the base pass this year. I think pinch runners off the bench go unnoticed, but when you have a really good pinch runner that you can depend on in any situation, whether it's early in the game, late in the game, that's money, right? Not only are you fast, but you're instinctual on the base paths. I think a lot of coaches would give their left arm for somebody like that first off the bench, especially in big pressure situations.
And they, in turn, those pinch runners put pressure on the defense. This is deep to right, over everybody defensively and over the wall. Opposite field, homer, Michaela Wark, her first as an Aggie.
And the Howdy Hat has been found. Michaela Wark just destroys this pitch right down the middle. I talked about how important it is to stay behind the ball, and this swing is a perfect example of what staying behind the ball means. Wark let that ball travel into the zone and kept her barrel behind the ball instead of getting anxious and out in front. That was a missile off the barrel. Anytime I see an Oppo home run, I'm just like, hats off to you. Howdy Hat off to you.
Tip of the Howdy Hat.
Wow, that was
so
a
we
shot.
found it. We did find it.
We found it. I guarantee you they just left it.
Are they just not in mid-season form yet and just forgot it
Yeah,
on
you
that first home run?
gotta get into those habits, those routines, nice and early. I'm sure we'll have another chance to see Paisley Allen don the Howdy Hat. She didn't get her opportunity on the first one.
Right. They're going to have to do something for her post game.
Hey, but that's what we call making an adjustment, right? Didn't get it done the first time, but that second time, it was there.
There you go.
It was where it needed to be.
I can only imagine when it's not there after the first homer. Somebody go get the Howdy Hat. Somebody's got to run and go get it.
You laugh, but I guarantee you that's exactly what happened. They probably forgot it and be like, oh, she hit the home run, and they were all wondering where it went.
Well, the Aggies had kind of waited for the big swing with a runner on base. They did have the home run already today, but it was a solo shot. And coming into this inning, A&M had left 6 runners on, 4 in scoring position, but they get the lead off in the single by Maya Perez and then get the homer from Wark with a pinch runner on base. That's the big swing they were looking for. And the Aggies have opened this one up a bit, 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th. And a walk now to KK DeMint.
And I keep going back to the conversation we were having about Maya Perez and how important it is for her to have that protection and how on cue Michaela Wark was, because Maya Perez, nothing flashy, right? It was just a ground ball up the middle, gets past the glove of Savannah Crocker, and she's standing on first base. Of course, you get a pinch runner put in, but I'm going to pretend that that's Maya, right? Then Michaela Wark comes up and just blasts a ball to right field, showing off her power. So now, not only do you have to worry about Maya Perez, you also have to worry about the seniority, the experience of Michaela Wark, because she brings the experience, but she also brings the pop. And I think it's just really cool to look at a lineup and how they can all play off of each other, and as you get deeper into the season, how that's all going to play out.
And this A&M lineup has rung out 10 hits now. And the homers, solo shot by Paisley Allen, 2-run homer by Michaela Wark. Talon Edwards at the plate, so still nobody out. ACU earlier today, they were in the game going to the later half against Utah State. It was scoreless through 3, and it got away from the Wildcats late in an 8-0 loss. Somewhat similar fashion here. ACU very much in the game after 4 innings in this one, down 2-0 going into this frame, but the Aggies possibly opening things up a bit now. Two-run homer here in the bottom of the fifth. One on, nobody out after that. Talon Edwards back in from the left side with a 1-1 count. That's hit hard opposite field, and that's going to the wall. A&M will get another one out of this. Talon Edwards will drive in KK Dement.
I love that you see the two players that we were talking about making errors in the field come up big for the program here in the fifth inning. Michaela Wark made the error on the pop fly, immediately launches that ball. Talon Edwards made an error in the first play of the game, turns around, hits a double with an RBI. I mean, there is no better show of when you let the team down in a moment, you can pick them right back up in a different way. It doesn't always have to be that moment right there. There's always going to be another one. How are you going to show up the next play? And both of them have come up clutch.
Backing up in center field and reaching up and making the catch is Ari Maxwell. Well-struck ball off the bat of Maddie Sowney. Sowney in her debut, that's 3 shots to the outfield. Doesn't have a hit to show for any of them right now.
And honestly, as a hitter, it can feel kind of demeaning, but I mean, you got to tip your cap to Maxwell out in center field. What a catch on the run with a leap into the wall. That's no easy task. We talked about the defense and how great it's been for ACU in the infield. We talked a lot about the infield. We haven't seen the outfield show off that much. We saw the ball from Taylor Christensen, her cutting that off at the wall. How about Ari Maxwell, or excuse me, Aaron Maxwell flying?
The ruling on the field was that the runner left on time from second base on the tag up. The play is being challenged. The play is under further review.
Okay, so we had the stoppage, and there's the reason why. ACU wants to challenge to see if Talon Edwards left second base early. Right now, Edwards standing on third base after the fly out by Maddie Sowney.
Before I even watched the replay, in my head replay, I think she was on time because she went back to tag. Because normally when you're at second base with a ball like that, you're getting off the bag, because if she drops that ball, you're thinking 2 bases.
Yeah.
So Talon Edwards makes the decision late. She was close enough that she could go back to the base, tag it, and take off to third because of the direction that Maxwell's body was in when she was catching that ball. It's just good base running, I think, when you can see the play and understand what's going to happen. And to me, it looks like she was on time. But what a snag. I can't get over the catch. It was just so good.
I agree with you on both accounts. Great catch, and I do think she left on time. Here's another look. I think
Absolutely.
she's just fine, yeah.
Yeah. But hey, you don't get the challenges back, right? Well, I guess you do if you get them right now. This year, that's a new rule change. But you don't get the challenges to the next game if you don't use them. So why not use them in opportunities where you think you might have somebody leaving early, or maybe a little bit more unconventional than just a play at first base?
And it's a game that's sort of slipping away from you. Why not take a shot? It would be 2 outs, nobody on, instead of that runner on third. We expect this call to be upheld. And here we go.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner left on time. Abilene Christian is charged with their first challenge, has 1 remaining.
So Talon Edwards will remain on third base in a less than 2 out situation. Paisley Allen coming up to the plate. Three runs home in this inning for the Aggies. They've somewhat broken it open. Looking for more. Way up. Showing bunt. Runner got off third base and a run down on the way. Edwards caught up, trying to slide below the tag, and she did. Comes home with the 6th run of the game for the Aggies. Showed bunt at the plate. And Edwards took off even though the bunt wasn't successful. Here's the slide.
Yeah, that was a little squeeze play attempt. Paisley Allen not able to get it down. Talon Edwards staying in that fight there. I like that she tried to make the play at home. I mean, I would have said immediately get back to third base as quick as you can because she was a lot closer to third than she was at home, but caught ACU slipping a little bit on defense. First time we've said that all broadcast.
To the warning track opposite field. Paisley Allen, a home run earlier. To the warning track this time. Frankie Vrajel hitting 9th in the lineup for the Aggies. She's 1 for 2. Vrajel made 29 starts for the Aggies last year, and she hit .330. Well, there's certainly a good bat in there, and one that the Aggie coaching staff believes could be quite important this season. Outside in a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Frankie made her way into the lineup. We mentioned Amari Harper last year getting injured, and Frankie making her way into that lineup and kind of making it hard for the coaches to take her out of the lineup because of how well she was hitting. I remember going into Clearwater, it was like you couldn't get her out. She was seeing everything, putting a barrel on so many different pitches.
That might be fair. Right on the line, and it is. She's going for second base, churning and sliding in. She's got a double.
That's another aspect of her game that keeps her in the lineup and why the coaches like to see her in that lineup, because she has the speed to accompany the barrel control. This one just gets in a little bit on her. She's able to keep it fair, just dumps it in right on the line. And immediately the hustle out of the box was thinking 2 bases. And you have to love an aggressive base runner, especially we talked about the coaches saying how important aggressive base running was going to be this year. And Frankie Vrajel coming out of the gates, game 1 of the season, pushing extra base hits already.
So runner on second base, 2 down, 4 runs home already in this inning, and that will force ACU into a pitching change. And we'll have the new Wildcat pitcher in the circle when we come back. Leah Meyer really hung in there pretty well after 4 innings. This was a 2-0 game, and she was very helpful in keeping the Wildcats right in the thick of things with the number 11 team in the country. But things have gotten away from ACU a bit here in the bottom of the 5th. 4 runs home for the Aggies in this frame. So the Wildcats will go to a junior in Michaela Valle.
Yeah, I like the switch here. You can feel the momentum building for Texas A&M. Getting a little bit close to that run rule territory, so you just need to give a new look, right? And I like that Valle is coming in, going to give these A&M hitters something different than Leah Meyer did, right? We saw the changeup, work in the corners, but after a while, good hitters adjust, and now you want to get them in a position where they don't feel quite as comfortable.
First pitch in the dirt, it got to the backstop. Frankie Vrajel to third base. First Aggie to go against Valle is Kennedy Powell. Powell is the leadoff hitter for the entire lineup, but she is the 8th Aggie to the plate in this inning. Kennedy Powell 2 for 3 in the game. Doubled her last time. Scored the opening run of the game in the bottom of the 1st. 6 runs on 12 hits now for A&M. Kind of worked that off speed in there. That was pretty effective for Meyer earlier. Valle tries it, gets a strike looking. Versus Powell, 2-1. That's away. Missed and a walk to Kennedy Powell.
Good job by Lucina too, keeping that ball in front. Now as a defense, you have to know that Kennedy Powell is the winning run. Anything you do this inning, you keep her at third base. You want to give yourself every chance, every out to play this game and not let them end it early before you get another chance.
Well, it's eerily similar for ACU to the game earlier today against Utah State. They were scoreless after 3 innings. They were in it, but then the game got away from them in the back half, and Utah State ended up run-ruling them 8-0 in 6 innings. Aggies with a big swing right here could essentially do just about the same thing. It's Ariel Kowaleski at the plate. She goes opposite field, hit that deep, but right there is Sienna Arguello. Aggies, 4 runs in the inning. They get the Michaela Wark homer. 2-run shot in her first game in the maroon and white. Is not only the head coach, they also call her the pitching guru. She handles the Aggies in the circle on this team. And she had one that she could go to quite a bit over the last few seasons. Emily Kennedy meant so much to this A&M program. And you see the percentage of innings pitched last year, most of it went to Emily Kennedy. They're going to need more than that one stalwart this year. Obviously, you saw Sydney Lessentine throw already today. And for Lessentine, her day has ended. And with the Aggies up 6-0, they will go to the Mizzou transfer. It is Taylor Pennell.
Yeah, Pennell, lefty, giving him a different look here on the other side of the body, of course, but also a different look in terms of spin and speed. She's going to be a little bit more crafty and spinny through the zone. She's going to force hitters to really dial in on that pitch selection and that timing. She's got a plus changeup is what Coach Ford describes to us, and luckily I've had the chance to watch her throughout her career at Mizzou. She's actually the active leader in career saves. She's got 24 saves. She had 15 in 2024, which is when she had her big year of saves. Last year she had to be used a little bit differently in terms of closer, maybe mid-relief. I think she's going to do a great job as not only a bridge pitcher between 2 big arms, but also could be in that reliever role as well here at A&M.
She got a ground out by Sienna Arguello to start the inning. So it's Taylor Pennell in for Sydney Lessentine. Lessentine throwing those 5 scoreless and stands to get the win. Lessentine struck out 7. Did not walk anyone. Swing and a miss by Emerson Meggers, and Pennell has her down to the count 0-2.
Yeah, I think this is, I guess, a sequence that we could see a lot from A&M is not really relying on that one arm like you saw in previous years with Emily Kennedy being in the circle. You saw she pitched 42% of that, but when you've got arms like this in the circle with Taylor Pennell, her first strikeout in the maroon and white. Again, that lefty changeup. Look at the way our fingers come up off that ball. You can see it really dive down into the zone. But when you've got someone with as much experience, but also as the craftiness, the competitiveness, and just really the guts for what it takes to come in and be a reliever, somebody that wants the ball, You're going to see Taylor Pinnell a lot for Texas A&M in different roles, and she welcomes every single one of them. I don't think you really need a pitcher to throw 7 on this squad with how much talent you've got.
Just landed fair down the line and right off the bat of Elizabeth Schaefer, and she has an extra base hit with 2 outs. Schaefer hit a hard liner, pulled it her last time up. It was caught by the third baseman, Kennedy Powell. She goes opposite field, well struck, this time for extra bases.
And that little win led to this big win, a double off the bat of Schaefer. A senior in this lineup, really led the way last year, played in every single game, but to me, what's most impressive is staying true to the process, right? She lasered one to Kennedy Powell, like you mentioned, and then this time takes it the other way, stays behind the ball, gets her barrel to that ball. It didn't seem like she was swinging very hard out of her shoes, stays smooth, nice and through it, and what do you know, it lands in for a double on just a nice and smooth swing. Smooth is fast. That's what I always tell everybody, smooth is fast. When you get all tight and tense, you start hooking around that ball, that's when it gets a little tricky. But Schaefer doing a phenomenal job, especially after 2 quick outs, to get in there and put a double up.
She registered the 2nd hit of the game for ACU. The first hit came in the 4th inning by Valerie Ornelas, who's at the plate here. She singled back in that frame. Nice off-speed pitch out in front. 2 strikeouts that inning for Taylor Pinnell, and she'll strand a Wildcat at second base.
Taylor Pinnell, known for that changeup, the way she spins it, the way it dives down, that is nasty.
The 11th ranked team in the country, the Texas A&M Aggies. They were in a tight one through 4, but put some distance between themselves and ACU in the bottom of the 5th inning, 4 spot. And it was an inning that Michaela Wark really got going with a 2-run homer.
Yeah, I think it goes to show adjustments are being made throughout the game. When you have really elite hitters, it can only go so long before they get themselves out on the same thing over and over again. And the experience of these 2 in particular, Maya Perez, who's up to bat, and Michaela Wark, who's on deck, it's only a matter of time before they get a pitch that they like and put a little pop into it.
Maya Perez, deep center field, tracking back, and that's her first time going yard in 2026. 3rd hit of the game, and she has 2 RBIs tonight.
Maya Perez is no stranger to the bubbles here at Davis Diamond. A pitch that's just left too far over the middle of the plate. One thing she will do is elevate a ball. And if you help her out by elevating it in the circle, or excuse me, over the plate, she's just gonna continue that trend and take it even further. Maya Perez, first one on the year.
So Maya Perez, 3 for 4. The homer, 2 RBIs. She scored a couple of runs. Remember, 73 runs driven in last year, setting a school record for a season. And I'd say she's picking up where she left off. Michaela Wark homered in the last inning. If she does it again here, that would end the game.
I was just gonna say, that swing looked like she was trying to end it. Something up in the zone, elevate and celebrate.
Look at that hat again. Now that they found it.
Right, right.
Took them a bit, but they're back.
A little bit of Marco Polo.
Very high in the air and coming in, Ari Maxwell coming out. The shortstop, Savannah Crocker. And I don't know if that was miscommunication or not, but it fell off the glove of Crocker right in front of Maxwell. tempted to say that's usually the center fielder's ball. But don't know if maybe Crocker actually called for it. Pinch runner coming in.
I think Maxwell was playing pretty far back, of course, respecting the power of Michaela Wark, but as a shortstop, you have to know where your outfielders are playing, right? You have to know if they're deep, if they're in, because of those balls right there. Because if it's any normal play, you're shifted straight up, you're not in, you're not out, you're just in a normal position, I think Maxwell can catch that. But because she was back, Crocker has to go even harder for that ball. It's a little bit deeper. She could have had it, but I think she got a little anxious thinking Maxwell should be here, and in turn took her eye off the ball, lost focus for just a split second. But again, that's why defense wins ball games, right? Because you talk about plays like that in a big moment, that could be the difference.
So after the error, the pinch runner the Aggies put in is Haley Golden. KK Dement with a 1-1 count at the plate. Runner goes. And the run that would end the game is in scoring position for the Aggies. Golden swipes second base.
Golden, another one of those players off the bench that can bring speed. Could see her as an outfield replacement player this season as well.
Way out of the zone. 3-1 to KK Dement. Yeah, the Aggies lost Coco Woolley, who was a game changer, but there's still speed in this program, make no mistake about it. Plenty of players who can run. Swing and a miss on a hard cut by KK Dement.
You can tell how bad she wants to end it right here. And I think it's seeping a little bit into her brain. You got to stay true to the approach. You know what you're chasing. Can't be chasing the result, right? You have to chase the pitch.
The process is what counts. And she's fouled this off. We stick with a full count.
Will and I are waiting for our opportunity this year.
Oh, we could get one. I think I cost you a catch last year.
You did. It's okay though.
I told myself I'm
it
not
up.
going to reach for a ball. I'm not going to reach for a foul ball. I'll leave them to you. And the moment we got a shot at it, I stuck my hand out, I bumped your arm and cost you a catch.
Hey, instincts, they take over.
You can charge that error to me. I'll take that.
So selfless of you.
But my plan again in 2026 is to give way to you if we get another one in the booth, if it's coming this way.
Yep. We're ready. I'm ready.
I'm diving. You're ready.
Yeah, dive out of the way. Out of the way.
Yeah, I'm just going to make sure I'm out of your way this year. You learn from your mistakes, right?
That's right.
That's what.
Hey, first one to make an adjustment wins.
And we will look to make them, no doubt. That's through the left side, and that will end the game. Golden will score on the hard hit knock by KK Dement, the game ender. 8-0. Texas A&M will run rule ACU, and the 11th ranked team in the country will start with a W. KK Dement, 2 hits in this game.
Yeah, this is the pitch she's hunting for, something that gets left over the white of the plate. Perfectly on time the way she shoots it right back up the middle, because in the scorebook, this goes down the exact same as a seed off the wall. It's a game winner for KK Dement. Picking up right where she left off last season, Will.
She and Maya Perez really both did. RBIs, big swings. A&M also got homers from Michaela Wark and Paisley Allen. And they get it done. And they've got another one coming up tonight. 8-0. A&M beats ACU. And in a matter of minutes, they've got Utah State coming up. We'll be back to Davis Diamond for that one. Thanks for joining us on the SEC Network for A&M and ACU. A&M and USU coming up next.